Hi, welcome to the Stitch Coach. I'm your host, Mark Poole. I'm thrilled today to have my very good friend, Mason King, as a guest on the episode. He and I have become great friends over the past several years, working together in the operating room and outside of the operating room. He is trained and has experience as a nurse, as a scrub tech, as a first assist. And if God had led him down a different path, he would be a surgeon because he has a keen intellect, incredible discernment, and incredible skills in terms of his hands. And I tell everybody, you are my personality coach, Mason, because Mason is the most positive person I've ever met, I think. And he has really helped me a lot in terms of focusing on positivity and getting past negativity in my own life, both personally and professionally. So I am so happy to be able to talk to you today, Mason. Thank you so much for coming on the episode. And I look forward to sharing your insights with the listeners.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind intro and thank you for having me today.
My pleasure. Well, let's jump into it. I have noticed that you are particularly good at resetting your mind whenever negative situations come up. And it's something that I have struggled with in the past. I think a lot of surgeons do. I mean, the classic surgeon is just this grumpy person uh, that doesn't exude a ton of positivity. Uh, and I fell into that same type of habit. And for me, often it was based on some information or some circumstance. Like often I would have a meeting right before a case and get bad news. Maybe it is one of the team members is leaving. Maybe there's some pressure about the budget or something. And I just came into the case kind of agitated. And that tends to stick with me. It might go through the whole case, depending on what it is. It might go all day long. And you've really helped me be able to try to reset my mind to drop that off at the door. So get us into that. What is your thought process when you get bad news, let's say, or something bad happens? How do you avoid thinking about it over and over in your mind where it kind of weighs you down and slows you down?
Cool. All right. So this is okay. Let's start from scratch. We go back to the foundation of the mindset. So
Okay.
I personally believe that thing does not start at workplace. That
Okay.
starts when your day starts. So when you wake up in the morning, that like basically that kind of behavior you take with you. So
Okay.
if you have a great start, your day will end up being great. But
Yeah.
if you have a bad start, you might be able to shift that to a better outcome. But if you don't have enough skills to do that, or you don't have the skill set for that, then you will end up being in a negative situation no matter what you do. So
Okay.
what I would say, like that thing initially starts with you when you wake up. You wake up first thing in the morning. I know a lot of people do that and they say, hey, I'm going to have a great day. But it's out of habit. You got to believe that you got to have a good day or a great
Okay.
day. So telling yourself, I'm going to have a great day, that is the key. That's how I start my day. Then
Okay.
moving forward with that, you can't just say, you gotta get engaged physically with it to have your body and your mind believe what you're saying.
Okay.
So you gotta start it with a smile. You can't be frowning and say, I'm gonna have a great day. That does not work. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
have to be completely engaged into what you're saying. Then you take that initial attitude with you and you move forward with your day. So, yeah, go ahead.
Now, is that something? Is do you use the mirror for that? Yeah, I think you and I have talked about that a little bit before. Do you pronounce things to the mirror or see yourself smiling, or is that a part of your morning, or is that not?
I mean, this is a great thing for people who are not used to this, but you will get to the point you just say it loud while you're driving, while you're walking, while you're getting ready to go to work, while you're washing your face. Like, I mean, I have to say it loud to hear it myself. So you gotta hear it. You can't just like internally like, oh, I'm gonna have a great day. No, you gotta
Ah,
you gotta speak that out.
so
And
you
you have
verbalize it. You're not just thinking it.
correct.
You are saying this out loud.
Correct. You want these ears to hear that, and it goes like a cycle in your system.
Okay.
So, saying it, hearing it, processing that in your mind, that's how you feed your body into what you're saying.
Okay.
And that's how things start. So, I consider that like, okay, this is my analogy to this. I think of that situation like your phone. You have your phone. You gotta charge your phone every morning to take it to work with you. If you
Sure.
don't charge your phone is not gonna do what's supposed to do during the day. You can't receive calls, you can't have text messages, you can't even do anything with it. So it
Okay.
has to be charged, right? But
Yeah.
the phone has only one source of energy, it's the electricity. You gotta plug in your phone to charge that phone, and that's the only option, correct? All right, so
Sure.
now we move forward to our minds. It's the same thing. You gotta charge your mindset before you go every day so it can last all day long, so you can do what you're supposed to do. Now,
Yeah.
the difference between the phone and our mindsets, we have options. The phone has only one option, electricity,
Okay.
to recharge that battery. For us, two options. Either you charge it with negativity or you charge it with positivity.
Hmm.
And that's the detour, what I call, like, this is the key, what you choose to charge your mindset with, and that's what's going to happen. So let's focus on the positive side, because the whole point is like how to be positive and how to deal with things during the day.
Sure.
So you decided to charge your mindset with positivity. Is that enough? No, it's not, because you got to maintain that. It's you charging your mindset with positivity. It does not mean you're positive.
Okay.
That means you just prepared your mindset for positivity. So just like when you go to school, so you have the hand material to read, but then you have the clinicals, you have the practical parts in order to practice. So charging your mindset, that is actually your like theoretical material that you studied or you put in your system, and now it's time to practice. If you don't practice, if you don't finish the practical part, that is not going to work because they complete each other.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, so moving forward from there and how to practice and how to do that, that is the second point that you need to focus on.
Okay. So how do I
So,
do that?
yeah. Now, so you started your day with telling yourself it's going to be a positive day. You charged yourself with positivity. You're ready for the day. You move forward. You might have two different things now. Either you got to have positive situations during the day, which it will match your energy that you started your day with, which is great, but that's not the
Right.
case every day. Our life, unfortunately, it has a lot of circumstances. So you get to see a lot of the other side. All right, so now I'm not saying there's no positivity, but you gotta, let's say, give it like 50-50. Okay. So the first 50% matched your energy, which you're good with it. But I consider the strong mindset when you get to the other 50%. Are you gonna handle that?
Hmm.
Are you gonna know how to deal with it? Because if you don't, everything you've done in the morning and getting ready and be prepared, I'm not saying it's not gonna work out, but the outcome is not gonna be positive if you do not maintain. And that is the test right there. Are you able to maintain what you told yourself this morning and what you're going to do during the day? Or you're gonna backtrack because, oh, this is it does not match my energy. If it doesn't, you got to make it match. And you should have that mindset to, like, you got to believe in yourself that you can steer things towards positivity. Or in that negative situation, I believe my personal experience, I will tell you this. It doesn't matter what you face during the day. That negative situation has tons of positive things in it.
Yeah.
But do you have the laser eyes to spot those? That's the question. I believe everybody do. But you gotta practice, you gotta learn the keys, the points, what to focus on, how to get the positive thing from the negative situation and ignore the whole negativity and just end up having that positive attitude at the end of the day. So I personally believe what's going on with that is 99% of people focus on the actual problem. So when you have a negative thing or a problem during the day, so they start challenging that problem. No, this is not what's gonna happen. No, this I'm not gonna let it happen. Oh, like you're fighting it.
Mm.
And that's why a lot of people end up having negative mindset at the end of the day, or negative outcome, or bad mood, bad attitude, problems, because it's all like built over each other. So if you have a bad day, you gotta have problems. When you have problems, you don't know how to deal with them. You're gonna have bad attitude. You're gonna have some interaction with other people. Then that will lead to escalate the situation. Then you're gonna get into a big problem, and your day is gonna be problematic. So like eliminating, like basically avoiding all these things to eliminate what I mentioned, it's not that hard, but you got to know what to focus on. So when you face a problem, and instead of really looking into fighting it, don't even fight it. Just look at it as a situation. As I always say, it's not a problem, it's a situation. It is a situation,
Okay.
because when you say a problem, that means everything is negative in it. And there is no such a thing in this world has 100% negativity in it.
Mm.
So starting from here, you got to find the positive things in it. So if it has 1% positive thing, that means it's a situation, it's not a problem. And that is the case everywhere in this universe. So now, instead of fighting it, I will look into it. Okay, I have a situation. So what is the solution for this? And instead of focusing, what's the problem? How am I going to fight it? No, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to ask what the problem is, because I know what it is.
Okay.
And now, how do I fix it? That is the focus. How do I fix this? What's the solution for this? If you focus on the solution, you will find it and you will be able to do it. If you focus on the which is the positive side, if you focus on the negative side, which is the actual problem or the negative situation, I would call it. If you focus on that, you will be blind to see where the solutions are, because the solutions will be close as the negative things close to you. They have the same distance from your eyes. You're looking
Mm.
at both, but if you're focused on one thing, you're not going to see the other thing. So, what I always say, to expand that vision and to see beyond, you need to block the negativity in order to see the positive things, which by ignoring the actual problem and said, well, all right, I know what it is. Now we're facing this situation. How do I fix this? How do I get out of this? Now we're thinking right. And starting from here, you can start finding the positive points or the good, like spots that you're looking for to initiate something to fix this problem. And that's how you find positivity into a negative situation, and you can turn it completely to a positive thing if you do it right.
Right. Oh, love that. Appreciate that description, that emphasis on seeing through the situation, or what we would usually call a problem, to the solution, and blocking the negativity before it can really take root. because this is exactly how I would get hung up in the past. A good example would be if I showed up and there's someone in the room, either scrub tech or PA, that I did not prefer. And I would just start telling myself over and over again how I didn't want that person. It's the focus on that, on the problem, right? But recently, I had a case where I walked in and I saw the PA, and it's not my favorite PA. But before I could even think a negative thought, it's like I blocked it, like you're talking about. And instead, I thought, we're just going to have an awesome case. And
Yes,
it was like I dropped it at the door. Like I didn't have to keep on blocking it. Once
correct.
I had that block and moved on to positivity, I kind of forgot about it. And we did have a great case. The PA really did extremely well. Versus, I feel like if I had come in with a bad attitude, it would have rubbed off on the PA, and the PA probably would have underperformed. And it turns into this kind of cycle where I'm giving off a negative vibe. That person is underperforming, and it just gets worse and worse. Instead, it all stopped at the door and we had a great case. So I've seen for myself how your technique is very effective in resetting the mindset.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, for example, that PA. I'm pretty sure they have a lot of positive things.
Mm-hmm.
And the negative part is like, yeah, maybe there's somebody else better. Okay. So at this point, but focusing on there is somebody else better does not make the situation better because that's what you
Yes.
have. That's what you
Yes.
have right now. So focusing on that is not going to get you anywhere because the
Yeah.
fact and the reality is that is the person who's going to work with you. So at this point, there is no point of beating a dead horse because
Yeah.
that's exactly what you're gonna do. The whole case, you're gonna beat yourself up like, oh, this is not what I want, this is not what I want. But guess what? The case is gonna keep going, and that's what you got. So instead of focusing on that, I will look at the other half of the glass, the full one, not the empty one, and I will say, hey, all right, it's gonna be a great case. It's gonna be a great day, no matter what. All right, like it's this is what I believe. If everything is a teamwork, so for us to focus on one person, even if they're not, I wouldn't say like incompetent. I would say like maybe the skill set is a little bit below the expectation. That does not that it should not be like the hang up. Like I wouldn't just look into it. Okay, that's the end of the world. Instead, I would say, you know what? I'm gonna make this day great, and I will proceed because that's what I have. These are the tools that I have. For example, if you are outside in the forest, you had a situation and you injured yourself, something got into you or something, and you need to cut your skin to remove that thing. Would you really wait until you have a sterile blade, or you would just use like a dirty knife to get out of that situation? You gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you gotta use the tools that you have because it's not ideal. Yes, it's not. But guess what? That's what I got now. Either I do it or I don't. When it comes to surgeries, if I don't, that's patient safety because there's patient on the table, there's something. So the only choice I have is just to go with it. So if my day is going by no matter what, I would make the best of it. And I will find the positive things in those people to be happy about instead of focusing on their incompetent side. And I will look at the other thing also, teaching those people and helping them to get better. It makes the situation better for themselves so they feel they're appreciated. And that reflects on you seeing them trying and putting the effort into it because you've been kind to them while they're not like what you expect. But it's all like connected. It's reciprocated situation. So if you're showing them, all right, like you go with flow, of course with safety precautions, but you're doing like okay, if they're slow, they're slow. I can wait for a few more seconds. Nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's gonna add up, but maybe it will add like 20 minutes total to the case, but it's okay. We can do it. Slowly, we can get over that. So For them to see you being patient, it makes him feel good. Plus, you're nice to them during the case. And that will reflect like, all right, you know what? He is a nice surgeon. He's good. It puts him in a good mood. It puts him in a positive mood. And that positivity will spread and it goes to the whole room, including yourself, for them to do their best to make you happy and to match your energy because your energy started being positive. They can't come at you with a negative energy. Positive gets positive. Negative energy gets negative. And negative energy, if somebody else is positive and they don't have the good skills to turn that negativity to positivity, they're going to join you. They're going to be
Right.
negative. And the whole thing is going to be negative. Then the whole day is going to be messed up. And that's not what we want.
Been there, done that. No, I appreciate what you're saying. It reminds me of Bruce Lee's philosophy, right? When we were first becoming friends, and you
Yeah,
mentioned Bruce Lee and be water, my friend. That whatever comes at you, to accommodate it. Don't
right.
fight it. In resisting it, you're not going to stop it. You'll just break yourself,
Yes.
right? But like water, you just move, and you mentioned go with the flow. So that's my mindset. Oftentimes, I'm no guru yet about it, but to try to not fight the reality of the situation, but look through what I perceive as a non-ideal aspect of it and pick out the positive elements. And I completely agree. As the leader, as the surgeon, when I'm positive, I feel like it affects almost everybody else in that
Correct.
room. And who knows how it may be affecting the patient, especially if on the other side, if we're all negative and we miss opportunities, maybe make mistakes that didn't have to happen, it's definitely going to affect the patient. So I've completely bought in to this concept of being as positive as I can to lead in a way where others can embrace it. And then we can provide the best operation that we possibly can that day.
I agree with you because this is what I say. I think it's everybody's job to try and do their best to be positive. It should not be like because you can't do the minimum and expect the maximum. That's not how it works. You gotta do the max. Like you gotta give it 110% to get 100% back. You can't just be like, all right, I was just gonna give it 10% of my effort today and I hope like things gonna be great. No, it's not. And part of that effort, I believe everybody to be positive. But commenting on your situation with the surgery, something I really appreciate about you and working with you for a while, you had a great way of turning things and give confidence to people. And instead of like showing them like, hey, you're doing it wrong. Instead of commenting like, hey, you're doing this step in a wrong way. No, you showing them the right way and the effect of that one. For example, like somebody handed you the needle incorrectly or in a wrong direction. For you, instead of saying, no, this is not what I wanted, or like making him feel miserable for like something it's easily to adjust. Like it's not like it doesn't take a second to adjust it, but I get it. During the surgery, it adds more time to keep adjusting every move.
Yeah.
So one of your ways that I really appreciate, you tell people, come on, look here. If you hand it to me right there, this is what I'm gonna do. Do you see what the holdup is? So if you do it this way, you see how it flows. That's why I want it this way for this part. Now, look at this point. This is a great way of like improving somebody else's skill, doing their job without making him feel bad and making him actually appreciate your way of teaching him and making your life easier because you explained the process. And that's what I always like believe. You gotta break things down to people to know why they are doing these things. And if everybody knows the purpose why they're doing things, nobody's gonna have a problem. But just being like blindly like copy paste because I know this is what's gonna happen and this is what I need to do. Just I'm gonna have a great day, but I don't believe in it, but I'm just gonna say it. That's not gonna happen. The same thing, I mean, which again I appreciate about like something about like your way of doing these things during the case. I know you have no time during the case to teach, but this is really kind of you to add that extra step to teach people and showing them why and the purpose of doing certain things. And believe me, they will never forget it, including myself. I learned a lot from you in the past, and I appreciated a lot of things. And it's a teamwork at the end of the day.
Right. Well, I appreciate you saying that. I do enjoy teaching, and I feel like if people understand, then it's not exactly memorizing. Because if
Correct.
you truly understand it, you can come up with it again if you happen to forget. So that's why I do try to explain what I'm doing if people don't seem to get it. And I think, especially as you work together for a while, then everybody has a shared understanding of the steps, particularly for heart surgeries because it's so complicated. So, well, I appreciate that very much. I think take home points for me that you've emphasized are start the day off right, first thing in the morning. It's going to be a great day. Say it out
Yes.
loud. Truly believe it. And then that is like the charge for the morning, but then you got to keep on recharging
Yes.
the mindset through the day. And then if negative things come up, it's almost like it depletes your positivity power just a
Correct.
little, but it's all right. You still got enough in reserve
Yes.
that you can push it back up to where you're full again, right?
Yes. And that this is like there is one phrase I really love and I believe in. Said if you know the why, the how is easy. So knowing the purpose why you're doing things and to make it make sense to you, it makes the how easy. You will find the way how to make it work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point. And then when a negative circumstance comes up, don't even think of it as a problem because the
No.
problem has no good in it, no positive aspect whatsoever. This is the situation. It's not worth fighting it because it's the reality that you find yourself in. And that resistance is where a lot of the negativity comes from. So being like water, accommodating it, but
Yes.
also looking for a solution, possible improvement in
Correct.
what's happening. And with that mindset toward the solution, then you're less likely to miss it.
Correct.
Instead of focusing on the problem or the negativity, like the solution may be right there, but you're not even looking for it because you're so absorbed in how bad you feel and how agitated you are. And so then, having reset the mindset, that affects the rest of the team in a positive way where they don't get dragged down and they can do their job to the best of their ability so that at the end of the day, we can all go home feeling satisfied, feeling like we did a good job, and the patient's doing well.
100%.
And you touched on something earlier. I know you are particularly skilled at helping other people climb out of a negative rut. So, I'd love to have you come back again and share some tips on that of how you can take a surgeon who starts off grumpy and by the end of the case be laughing and having a great time and really change the dynamic of the whole team. So, appreciate you so much, my
No
friend.
problem.
Thanks for listening. God bless you as you bless others. We'll see you next time.